Why does the person who does the least work make the most money? And why does the colleague you trusted just throw you under the bus to impress the very boss who's destroying you? It's Sunday, 3 p.m. And that familiar dread is creeping in. Tomorrow is Monday. Tomorrow, you have to go back there, to that place where your soul goes to die 8 hours at a time. You know the ritual. Alarm goes off. You sit on the edge of your bed for a moment longer than necessary. Deep breath in the parking lot. One last moment of being yourself before you put on the mask. Before you become the version of you that can survive another day in that fluorescent hellscape. You're the one who stays late, who fixes everyone's mistakes, who carries the entire department on your back while watching incompetence get celebrated in corner offices. And that colleague, the one you thought was your friend, the one you vented to about the insanity of it all. They just repeated your private frustrations to the boss, twisted them, used them as currency to buy favor with the very narcissist making your life hell. Your body knows what your mind keeps denying. The stress headaches that start at 10 a.m., the jaw pain from grinding your teeth in your sleep, the weight you've gained or lost, the drinks that have become necessary, the relationships that are crumbling because you have nothing left to give when you get home. You know what's killing you. A narcissist with a title and an army of cowards willing to sacrifice you for their approval. If you're watching this, you're probably one of the good ones, the competent ones, the ones with a conscience. And that's exactly why you're suffering. That's exactly why they target you. That's exactly why you can't win their game. You can't win their game because you're playing by rules they've already broken. You can't win their game because you still believe work should be about merit. You can't win their game because you have something they desperately need to destroy: integrity. Machiavelli wrote that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities. Your toxic boss understands this better than you do. They know exactly what your present necessities are: your mortgage, your kids' tuition, your fear of unemployment, your need to feel valuable. And they use every single one against you. Let me show you who you're really dealing with. There are 3 types of toxic bosses, and they all operate from the same playbook Machiavelli wrote 5 centuries ago. First, the charming tyrant. They're beloved by upper management, charismatic in meetings, a completely different person behind closed doors. They smile while they destroy you. They compliment you publicly and demolish you privately. Everyone thinks they're wonderful. Everyone except the people who actually work for them. Second, the victim boss. Everything is always happening to them. They're overwhelmed. They're struggling. They need your help. They need your sacrifice. They weaponize their incompetence. They make their failures your emergencies. And somehow, you end up doing their job while they collect their salary. Third, the incompetent credit thief. They don't understand the work. They can't do the work. So they become masters at taking credit for your work. Your ideas become their initiatives. Your solutions become their strategies. Your late nights become their achievements. But here's what Machiavelli understood that you don't. These aren't broken people who accidentally got power. These are predators who sought power specifically because they're broken. Power doesn't corrupt them. They're corrupted beings seeking power. And corporations? Corporations are built to protect them, to reward them, to promote them. Why? Because corporations don't want leaders. They want controllers. They don't want innovators. They want enforcers. They don't want humanity. They want compliance. And you? You're the perfect target. You have competence, which means you can do the work they can't. You have conscience, which means you'll feel guilty if you don't. You have pride in your work, which means you'll perfect things they don't even understand. You have loyalty, which means you'll stay longer than you should. You have hope, which means you'll keep believing things will get better. Every strength you have becomes a vulnerability in their hands. But here's what nobody tells you. They need you more than you need them. Let's talk about that colleague. The Judas in your cubicle. The one who watches you work late, then tells the boss you're struggling with time management. The one who asks about your weekend, then reports that you're not committed enough. The one who pretends to sympathize with your frustration, then weaponizes your trust for their next performance review. You want to know why good people become flying monkeys for toxic bosses? Fear, ambition, survival. They've made a calculation, a simple, cowardly calculation. It's easier to sacrifice you than to stand with you. It's safer to betray you than to support you. It's more profitable to destroy you than to defend you. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved." Your toxic boss has created a culture where fear determines everything, and fear makes cowards of us all. Well, almost all. Watch how it works. The toxic boss creates an atmosphere of scarcity. Not enough promotions, not enough recognition, not enough security. Then they watch their subordinates turn on each other, fight for scraps, betray friendships for favor. That coworker who was just like you, who complained about the same things, who saw the same insanity. They got a taste of power, a hint of promotion, a whisper of job security. And suddenly, you became expendable. They become the informant network, the boss's eyes and ears, reporting your conversations, your complaints, your moments of human exhaustion. Everything becomes intelligence. Everything becomes ammunition. And here's the sick part. They tell themselves they're just being smart, playing the game, being strategic. They've renamed betrayal as career development. They've rebranded cowardice as corporate savvy. Meanwhile, you're still operating from integrity, still believing that work friendships are real friendships, still trusting people who see you as nothing more than a stepping stone. The promotion path of the morally flexible is always faster than the advancement of the competent. They have time to play politics while you're doing actual work. They have energy for manipulation while you're exhausted from productivity. Your toxic boss knows this. They've designed it this way. A kingdom of fearful subjects competing to prove their loyalty through acts of betrayal. And the sickest part? You've been trained to see this as playing the game. You are reliable. And reliability in a toxic workplace is a death sentence. Let me show you how the entire system is designed to exploit you. From your toxic boss to the middle management mafia. From the credit thieves to the professional obstacles. It starts innocently. You do good work. You meet deadlines. You solve problems. You become known as someone who gets things done. Then the requests increase. Small favors, quick additions. Since you're so good at this, since I can count on you, since you never let me down. Before you know it, you're doing 3 jobs. Yours, your incompetent colleagues, and parts of your bosses. But here's the trap. The moment you push back, the moment you say you're overwhelmed, you're not a team player. You're not management material. You've changed. You're not who they thought you were. They've made your exploitation feel like your obligation. Watch the mediocre employees around you. They come in at 9, leave at 5, never volunteer, never excel, never threaten, and they get promoted. Why? They're easier to control. They don't intimidate the toxic boss with competence. They don't challenge them with excellence. They're grateful for any recognition. They're perfect pawns. Look at middle management. Really look at them. They don't actually do anything. They forward emails, schedule meetings about meetings, create bureaucracy that justifies their existence, professional speed bumps in expensive suits. But they thrive. They multiply. They get promoted. Because incompetent middle managers are the perfect buffer between toxic leadership and actual workers. They can't do the work, so they don't threaten the boss. They can't lead, so they don't challenge authority. They can't innovate, so they don't disrupt the dysfunction. They've mastered the art of looking busy while doing nothing, speaking in buzzwords to hide their complete lack of substance, creating processes that create work that creates nothing. The credit theft system operates at every level. Your ideas become their talking points. Your analysis becomes their presentation. Your solutions become their success stories. And when things go wrong, suddenly it's your project, your responsibility, your failure. You're doing 3 people's jobs while they're in their 3rd meeting about implementing a new meeting structure. You're solving real problems while they're creating fake ones to solve. You're building the business while they're building their LinkedIns. They've created a system where you absorb all the risk and they extract all the reward. But what if I told you the power they have over you is an illusion you're maintaining? Just quit. Everyone says it. As if it's that simple. As if you haven't thought about it every single day. As if you haven't written that resignation letter 100 times in your head. But you can't. And they know exactly why you can't. Financial chains. That mortgage doesn't pause for your mental health. Those student loans don't care about your toxic boss. Your kids' needs don't stop because your workplace is killing you. They've got you trapped in what Machiavelli called present necessities, the immediate pressures that override long-term thinking, the urgent that destroys the important. But it's deeper than money. It's identity fusion. Somewhere along the way, you became your job. Your worth became your work. Your value became your productivity. When people ask who you are, you answer with what you do. This is trauma bonding at its most insidious. The worse they treat you, the harder you work to prove your worth. The more they criticize, the more you perfect. The more they take, the more you give. They've hijacked your nervous system, made you addicted to their approval. An approval that never comes. A validation that's always just out of reach. The gaslighting is masterful. When you excel, it's expected. When you struggle, it's documented. When you succeed, it's the team. When you fail, it's all you. They make you doubt your own competence. Question your own perceptions. Wonder if maybe you really are the problem. Maybe you really aren't good enough. Maybe you really don't deserve better. And that mask you wear, that professional persona that gets you through the day, it's killing you faster than the job itself. You've split yourself in 2. The real you, who dies a little more each day. And the work you, who performs happiness, enthusiasm, teamwork. Your body keeps the score. The autoimmune disorders, the chronic fatigue, the anxiety that follows you home, the depression that colors everything gray. You're not just protecting your job, you're protecting the very people destroying you, making excuses for them, covering for them, enabling them. Once you see their game, you can't unsee it. And that's when everything changes. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You've been neither. You've been a sheep. An excellent, hard-working, productive sheep. But a sheep nonetheless. Time to become something else. Machiavelli taught that it's better to be feared than loved. Your boss chose fear. But they made a critical mistake. They created hatred. And Machiavelli warned that hatred is the one thing a prince must avoid at all costs, because hatred breeds revenge, and revenge breeds revolution. Your revolution starts with understanding power, real power. They don't have power over you. They have power over your fear. Control the fear, and you control the power. Start with strategic incompetence. You've been too good for too long. Time to dial it back. Not enough to get fired, just enough to stop being exploited. That urgent request? It'll take longer now. That extra project? You're not sure you have bandwidth. That weekend work? You have commitments. Documentation becomes your weapon. Every request in writing. Every conversation confirmed via email. BCC yourself on everything. Screenshot everything. Build your case while they build their coffin. The calculated withdrawal of excellence is an art form. You don't rebel. You just stop over-delivering. You don't refuse. You just stop volunteering. You don't quit. You just stop caring. Stop giving 110% to people who would replace you before your obituary was published. Your excellence is your asset, not their resource. Your creativity is your property, not their profit. Your time is your life, not their leverage. Machiavelli also taught that everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Appear compliant while becoming ungovernable. Appear engaged while becoming detached. Appear loyal while becoming sovereign. Stop trying to win their game. Change the game. While you're collecting their paychecks, build your exit power. Not your exit plan. Your exit power. The ability to leave becomes your ability to stay on your terms. Update your resume at work, on their time, using their computer. Take those LinkedIn courses, on their dime, during their hours. Network with competitors, at their events, on their ticket. Become selectively available. You're in meetings when they need favors. You're on calls when they want overtime. You're deep in projects when they need someone to blame. Master the art of being irreplaceable while becoming ungovernable. They need your skills, but they can't control your spirit. They require your knowledge, but they can't access your enthusiasm. The gray rock method becomes your shield. Emotional flatness. No reactions to provocations. No energy for their drama. You become boring to their chaos, uninteresting to their manipulation. Make them need you more than you need them. They've gotten comfortable with your excellence, dependent on your reliability, addicted to your problem solving. Now slowly withdraw the supply. Watch them panic when their presentations have no substance, when their meetings have no solutions, when their promises have no one to fulfill them. Create boundaries that look like corporate strategy. I'm focusing on core competencies. I'm prioritizing key deliverables. I'm optimizing my bandwidth for maximum impact. Use their language to build your walls. You're not refusing. You're strategizing. You're not rebelling. You're restructuring. You're not leaving. You're leveraging. This is how you reclaim power without declaring war. How you protect yourself without painting a target. How you survive without sacrificing your soul. Listen to me carefully. You are not your job. Your job is a tool for your life, a resource for your dreams, a funding source for your freedom. Somewhere along the way, you forgot this. You let them convince you that you were lucky to have them, that you should be grateful for the opportunity, that you owed them loyalty for the privilege of exploitation. The truth? They're lucky to have you. They should be grateful for your competence. They owe you for building their success on your backbone. Reclaim your energy for what actually matters. Your family, who barely sees you present. Your health you've been sacrificing. Your dreams you've been deferring. Your life you've been postponing. Emotional detachment is your superpower. They can't hurt what they can't reach. They can't manipulate what won't engage. They can't destroy what doesn't care. You're building your empire while renting yourself to theirs. Every day you're there. You're gathering resources, skills, connections, experience, intelligence. You're not their employee. You're a sovereign being who currently exchanges services for currency at their location. Tomorrow morning, you walk in different. Same building, different person, same desk, different energy, same title, different truth. The moment you realize you were never trapped. You were just trained. Trained to believe in their authority. Trained to accept their treatment. Trained to need their validation. But training can be undone. Programming can be rewritten. Patterns can be broken. You're about to discover what happens when a sovereign being stops pretending to be a slave. When excellence becomes selective. When competence becomes conditional. When your gift becomes your weapon. You were never trapped. You were just trained. And tomorrow, you graduate. Tomorrow is Monday, and you have a choice. Walk in as their victim, or walk in as a sovereign being who happens to collect a paycheck there. Your toxic boss? They're not your master. They're your temporary client. And clients can be managed. Clients can be fired. Clients can be replaced. That colleague who betrayed you? They just showed you who to never trust again. They revealed their character, saved you from future betrayal, did you a favor by dropping their mask. The middle manager mafia? They're just frightened children in adult bodies, playing pretend in their offices, desperate to matter in a system that doesn't care about them either. You've been playing checkers while they've been playing chess. But now you see the board. Now you know the pieces. Now you understand the game. And more importantly, you understand that you don't have to play. Your excellence belongs to you. Your energy belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. They get your time. For now. For a price. On your terms. But they don't get your soul. They don't get your spirit. They don't get your sovereignty. If you're watching this, you're probably in pain. Probably exhausted. Probably wondering how much longer you can take it. The answer is exactly as long as you choose to. Because now you know the truth. The power they have over you is the power you give them. The control they exercise is the control you allow. The game they're winning is the game you're playing. Stop playing their game. Start living your life. Stop being their resource. Start being your own revolution. The game doesn't change. You do. Your boss isn't your problem. Your belief in their power is. Reclaim your sovereignty. Tomorrow, the revolution begins.